Hey guys. So obviously I am not in the normal setting. I am in my work van, and I'm out running jobs. My contractor had to go home. He was super sick, and it wasn't shaping up to be a very good day. But I just have a story to tell. It's turning out to be an awesome day actually. So I had a job several days ago where I cleared a sewer and I pulled a feminine hygiene product out of the drain, and then it started flowing again, and everything was fine. There was a little sewage on the floor. This was the bottom floor of a large apartment complex. I got a call back the next day, and super urgent. The landlord is freaking out, and this is an apartment full of women. And sewage is now coming up in other units. It's disastrous. So I get there, and it's not my fault. There was a foreign object that came loose and plugged the drain. I figured out, and I got it clear quickly. But there was sewage all over the floor at this point, and coming up in another apartment, and it was other people's sewage. And this is a really, for someone who's never encountered this before, this is a very scary issue because there's bacteria in sewage, there's viruses, it smells terrible, it's disgusting. So at this point I'm thinking for sure, and also the landlord literally told me on the phone, well, yeah, whose fault was it? How can we determine whose fault it was? Whose feminine hygiene product was this? And I'm thinking about this line of questioning, and I'm thinking he's looking for anyone to blame, and I am definitely high on the list. Matthew has been a very important book for me lately. It has resonated with me very strongly, and chapter 5 very much so, all the more. And when I realized that this landlord is looking for someone to blame, and it's definitely going to be, it could be me. I'm thinking he's going to give me a bad review. Maybe he's going to sue me to replace all the carpets. I'm extremely worried. But Matthew, I'll read you a couple verses that just popped up in my mind as I was thinking about this. I'm like, what do I do? He definitely thinks it's probably my fault too. And it wasn't. So Matthew 5:23, I'm going to read you this. Therefore, if you bring your gift to the altar and there remember that your brother has something against you, leave your gift there before the altar and go your way. First be reconciled to your brother, and then come and offer your gift. Agree with your adversary quickly while you are on the way with him, lest your adversary deliver you to the judge hand you over to the officer, and you be thrown into prison. Assuredly, I say to you, you will by no means get out of there till you have paid the last penny. So I wasn't going to go to prison for this, right? But there was a strong possibility that he would give me a bad review and sue me. And I just, the cost of insurance is so high. I don't need another. I haven't been sued yet, but I don't need a lawsuit. It would just, I certainly don't want a bad review. So I started thinking about this, and I'm like, what should I do in this situation? And the solution I came up with, I've never done this before, but I hired a carpet cleaning company, and I cleaned 2 units. I had them clean 2 apartment units. He seemed really happy with the solution. And, I actually zeroed out the invoices. I didn't charge him for the jobs that I did, because I'm like, I gotta make this right with this guy. I know that he thinks that I'm partially responsible for this, even though I wasn't, even though it's definitely a feminine hygiene product and a foreign object. So, normally most business owners wouldn't, they would say, no, that's not my fault. They'd stand on principle, right? And I felt like that too. But at the same time, it's not worth it was $250 to clean the carpets. And, maybe the business lost, $400 or so on a couple drain jobs, or maybe a few. So I forgot about it. At least I can sleep well at night knowing that he's not going to sue me or leave a bad review. He's happy, he's content. And so are his tenants. And that is really important for him. So that was several days ago. And today I got a call from a landlord who was referred by this man. Today, he was referred by the same the landlord that I was worried that was going to sue me, has now referred me a new landlord. And this landlord has 200 units throughout the city of Lansing. So I can't believe it. I can't believe how effective Matthew 5:23 and 24 and 25 and 26 have been for my life lately. I have used this over and over again with so many people. Well, I don't have that many enemies, but I practice this. This is a staple in my toolbox. And actually, the Bible itself is becoming more and more very much a toolbox. And when I read it with intention to see which tool, which verse, which chapter, which parable I need to work on my life and to improve my life. This could have turned into a disaster. It could have turned into a lawsuit. And instead, I was blessed with 200 more units for my business. So I think the moral of the story is Jesus' teachings are absolutely true. And I just can't believe how important it is to pray for your adversaries and do good for your adversaries. Matthew 5:44, Jesus implores us to love our enemies, right? And I think this is important too. And let me just read this real quick, just on my way out. So you have heard that it was said, you shall love your neighbor and hate your enemy. But I say to you, love your enemies, bless those who curse you, do good to those who hate you, and pray for those who spitefully use you and persecute you, that you may be sons of your Father in heaven. For he makes his sun rise on the evil and on the good, and sends rain on the just and the unjust, and on the unjust. And he goes on to say, for if you love those who love you, what reward have you? Do not even the tax collectors do the same? And if you greet your brethren only, what do you do more than others? Do not even the tax collectors do so? So I get the feeling that Jesus doesn't have high regard for tax collectors. And therefore you shall be perfect, just as your Father in heaven is perfect. So be perfect. Do good for your adversaries. And you might just get a blessing. Maybe you'll get 200 more units for your business. Maybe you'll get a free sandwich. Maybe you'll find a $20 bill tucked away in the ID compartment of your wallet. Thanks for listening, guys. Thanks for watching. And I'm sure I'll have another video soon. Bye-bye. I'm already back. So I knew I'd be back soon, but not this soon. So on my first stop, so to rewind, I used the principles of Matthew 5:23. I agreed with my adversary quickly, and I got referred to a new 200 unit client within days. My contractor went home sick this morning, and I didn't know. I was like, why is this happening to me? I actually prayed this morning. I was like, Lord Jesus, how do I bear fruit if I'm always out working, if I'm always out in the field? Like, what's going on here? So, I was like, okay, I'm just going to take it in stride, and maybe this is a blessing, or it could be a blessing, or it could be a curse, So I took it in stride, and the first stop that I went to was for a gentleman who recently started getting interested in the Word, and recently, started getting his faith started getting stronger and stronger, and I just struck up a conversation with him. I just happened to bring a product that he needed and put it on the van. I just ordered this like 3 days ago, and I just put it on the van this morning. I was like, I'm going to need this for a job. I don't know why, but I just think I'm going to need it. So I had this on the van, and I also had a tool hooked up that he needed, or that he needed, and I demonstrated this tool to him. He wanted us to do a job that he didn't need to do, so I saved him $900, and we started talking, and he hadn't yet accepted Jesus into his heart. And if you know me, if you've watched my videos now, you know that the way I get fed spiritually, the way The highest reward for me is leading someone to Jesus. So so this was a huge blessing coming on the heels of just finding out that I just gained a 200 unit customer just by deploying Matthew 5:23. So I locked it in with this customer right there. I prayed in his home. He helped me. He let me guide him in prayer right there in his home, and asked Jesus into his heart. So what a good day! I have so much joy. I am just elated. I feel like I'm just on a cloud of joy right now. So I'm going to try to combine these two videos together, or just maybe post a follow-up. But that the 200 unit customer is nice, but helping someone accept Jesus into their heart is the real reward for me. That is huge. So I had to make up another video. I'm sorry, but so yeah, this is me. I'm signing out. Bye-bye. All right, guys. So I got to make another video. I'm sorry. For those who are following, my day started out kind of rough, but it snowballed into another great day. By the way, I didn't mention that the shelter that I interviewed with. I just want to mention this first. The shelter that I interviewed with, I called him today. I couldn't take it anymore. I had to call him and just, I was going to beg him to let me preach there. And he said, "Oh yeah, I just forgot to call you." Yeah, and he committed to letting me preach there. And he actually talked about giving me his slot for preaching at supper. So I sent his staff Jimmy John's, a box of Jimmy John's. So that was the offering to the Lord Jesus today. So my contractor went home sick. I mentioned that in another video. And I went on a job that was super technical. Basically, the pipes were brittle. They weren't glued together properly. And he may not have, he's a really good drain cleaner, but he may not have noticed this, or he may have decided to do the job anyway. And it could have very well ended in disaster. And I just, I've just seen pipes blow apart that are in this kind of shape. And I decided to call the owner instead and let the owner know that there's a really high probability that this happens. I probably avoided disaster. I probably avoided a lawsuit. And I'm not joking. I'm not just saying this. The pipes were enclosed in a drywall in a finished space. It was very likely to happen. So it is definitely a blessing that I went on this job and that my contractor was sick. So no, it wasn't a curse. Jesus didn't curse me today. He blessed me. There's blessing upon blessing upon blessing and grace upon grace. I mentioned Matthew 5:44 and 5:23, where Jesus implores us to do good to our adversaries, to agree with our adversary on the way. So I was on a job, and my wife, or my ex, whatever you want to call her, she texted me and she asked me if I was busy. I'm like, I'm in the middle of a job, and I'm literally holding a cable, drain cable. I'm like, yes, but why? And she called me, and she hit a curb, and it popped the sidewall in her tire. And so I was slammed, and I had like 3 more jobs to do, and I made recommendations. And the thing is, she's not my adversary, right? But I'm going to be totally straightforward about it. She's divorcing me, and she's the plaintiff. And just last night, I said, go ahead and just stop the divorce if you don't want a divorce, right? But there's, I'm not going to get into it, but I'm just saying, And so on this, on the call with her, I just suggested a tow company, and the cheapest tow company I know, and I suggested, the tire company, And because she asked me, actually the sidewall wasn't completely popped, and she asked me if it was okay to drive on it. I said no, absolutely not. She sent me a picture of it, and it just looked too sketchy. So I got off the call with her, and it just felt wrong, And honestly, I felt like I failed the test. I failed the test. I wasn't. I did not. That call, I did not have the fruits of the spirit in that call. I was rushed, and I didn't consider. Her feelings, and I didn't consider Jesus' feelings about that. And so I stopped what I was doing. I almost returned back to the job. I'm in a basement and there's sewage everywhere. But I got back. I called her. I'm like, hey, just stay there, and I'm gonna call a tow truck, and we're gonna get you going again. And she revealed to me that also my daughter Grace, her blood sugar was super high. It was like 600, and she was actually having trouble with her vision. And so I'm so glad that I called her back, and because I did not know that about Grace. And so I said, just hang tight, we'll get you going again. So we got the wrecker there, and the wrecker came and picked up her car, and she got a ride to the tire company. We actually took it to Quality Tire on the north side. They've always been really good to me, good to my business. And I actually called the tire company, and I said, hey, my wife's coming in there. Can you get her in as soon as possible? And what's cool about this is that he actually turned down a customer to get her in quicker, and that just doesn't happen. They usually, a company just won't turn down a customer. And so yet another interesting coincidence. They had the exact tire with the exact tread. It was a used tire, but it was the exact tire. It was a Continental tire that matched her vehicle. It matched the height of the tread, and she got a great deal on that. They got her in way quicker than they would have at Discount Tire or any other tire company. And when she was there waiting for the tire to be replaced, they were working on the tire. She met someone who works with the homeless, and I have a soft spot for the homeless and the disadvantaged. That's like my bread and butter. So and she got her card, and she kind of talked about me a little bit, and because I want to witness to the homeless. Like Jesus said, "What you do for the least of these, you do for me," right? And so I thought that was really cool and quite a coincidence as well. Then I went and I picked up Grace. I picked up my daughter from school, and I got to I just happened to have a vial of insulin at my house. My wife just brought one over, and then I also I previously bought some syringes. So I brought syringes. I brought an injection site, and I had my contractor with me. So we actually had lunch. We went to Starbucks and we had a little lunch. It was really pleasant. It was really nice. And then, my daughter Grace, she mentioned that I said no to a vehicle. And I was like, wait a minute, I did say no to that, didn't I? I started thinking about it, like, what car is it? And so in that moment, I considered the vehicle and what kind of deal it was. And I was like, wait a minute, that's a pretty good deal. And I was, then I started talking to her about it, and I started talking to my wife about it. I'm like, wait, show me this car, and I started looking at the listing. So, long story short, we go and look at the car. It's a buy, and I told you in another video that I myself. What's interesting, I didn't mention this either. What's interesting is I just popped my sidewall on my work van just a few days ago, and I had to replace the tire on my car because of a curb. And what's even more interesting is I lost a hubcap. And this seller of the vehicle that my daughter wants, has 350,000 hubcaps. This guy picks up like anywhere between 3 and 10 hubcaps a day on the side of the road, and he's been doing this since he was 7 years old. And I just happened to need a hubcap, and my daughter just happened to need a car, a nice car, and we needed a great deal. So this guy, he showed me his books on this car. I decided that my wife and I mutually decided that we wanted to proceed with the purchase. And but I tried to bargain with him a little bit, and he said, actually, my cost is what I'm asking for it. And he showed me his books, and then he gave me $500 less than the cost that he paid for it. So I thought that was pretty exceptional too. And what an exceptional day. And just a blessing upon blessing. And like, I just know that all of these blessings come from Matthew. God, right? God has designed life such that if you bless people around you, if you love your neighbor as yourself, and no matter what's going on in your life or what you're interacting, if you love your neighbor, he's going to honor that. Like I know that. Like, and also the seller that has the hubcaps and the nice car for my daughter. I was there with my wife, and he gave us marriage counseling. He was like literally giving us marriage counseling in the middle of buying this vehicle. And he also was giving us advice on like trusts. You may not know what a trust is, but basically it's a trust. It's an entity that you can put assets in. And that's something that I've been kind of mulling over, just because, in the business world, you want to insulate yourself from liability. And I just thought this was the whole day God's hand has been so heavy, and I've been so guided throughout this whole day that I just thought it was really amazing. And I just want to share that this last update with you. I hope that this enriches someone else's faith, and for me, like I can't believe it, but I can. It's just it's truly awesome. So thanks for watching, guys, and I'm sure I'll be back soon. I'll see you. Bye bye.